So, for those little things we got to talk about, let's begin with the big one. And this is going to be a good talking point for us for a little while today. Hey, look! It's a bad website, but on Twitter, you can see that RGG have announced that, yes, there is a summit on the latest Ryuga TV, Japanese-only live stream. They announced the date for Tokyo Game Show's, obviously RGG Summit, which they're going to do as an RGG Direct, obviously, for us. Not surprised. We knew that they were going to be at Tokyo Game Show with Virtua Fighter. Ideally, we're going to see some Stranger Than Heaven. That would be fantastic. As you can see, much like last time, restreamers and reactions welcomed. Even though this is 4 a.m. my time, and I've fixed my sleep schedule for the past 3 months, we will be there. We will be there. We will absolutely be there. And yeah, the interesting thing is, it's 1 to 2 days before TGS. So do RGG have something else planned to show off that could potentially be at Tokyo Game Show? Now, I think, and a couple of people have seen this, like you'll have probably also seen this, they may have accidentally dropped a hint. And that hint is unironically on Steam. Right now, Sega's going through a big publisher sale. There's a good couple of stuff that's like up to 75% off. I think Pirate Yakuza is currently like 45% off or like 40% off. Metaphor's 45% off. Which highly recommend all of the above. Highly recommend all of the above. I recommend pretty much everything on this banner, actually. Sonic Shadow Generation is fantastic. P3 Reload is just fantastic. Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, I know a lot of people are a bit iffy about it. I really like it. Combat's great. I actually really like the game. Metaphor's phenomenal. Like, genuinely. But the reason why I'm showing you the complete series, which again, 40% off, 60 quid for a whole bunch of Yakuza games. Let me show you how cool this deal is. You've got Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami, Kiwami 2, 3 remastered, 4 remastered, 5 remastered, and 6. But what's going on there? What happened in the middle? One of these things is not like the other. What happened to Yakuza 3? It's not on sale. That's curious. And like, everything else is, and why is everything else on sale? And it's weird because this bundle is only going on for like another couple of days, or you know, like I think it's only until like the start of next week, so it's way before the RGG Summit. Why is Yakuza 3 Remastered not on offer? Why is that the only one? So tinfoil hat on. K3 is a thing. K3 is a thing that exists. I've said before, I do genuinely think that, like, the next, like, Kiwami we get will be free. I got a lot of thoughts and feelings as to whether there should be a K3. You all know me, I love Yakuza 3. I love Yakuza 3's combat. But I understand why people dislike Yakuza 3. I understand that people don't like the pacing. That's not going to get fully fixed with a Kiwami, by the way. But I also understand that people don't like the combat. The problems with the combat are exacerbated a little bit with the remaster. With the higher FPS and with the way the game works, enemies actually do guard a little bit more than they do in the original PS3 version. So the problems with Yakuza 3's combat are exacerbated a little bit with the remaster. So a Kiwami 3 would theoretically, provided they do a proper Kiwami like K1, like K2, not like Lad Ishin, would ideally fix a lot of those problems. And like, you also have the other problem that if you're playing on PC as well, you have the added problem of quick steps now going in a 360-degree circle and taking Kiryu to the other side of Kamurocho in one little quick step. So a lot of the problems of Yakuza 3's combat that people don't like are exacerbated because of the remaster. So I think that a K3 could actually be a good thing. And honestly, as somebody that loves Yakuza 3, I want more people to play Yakuza 3. So I kind of do hope that a Yakuza Kiwami 3 does exist to get more people to play it, because like I feel like a lot of people just skip from K2 to like 6 or LAD. But also I think that with the fact that K2 is going to the Switch, I had the thought that, you know, if they were going to test out the Dragon Engine on the Switch 2, LAD would have been a good shout. You know, new protagonist, kind of start of new storyline. That's not exactly gone well. But also the fact that as a turn-based game, 30 FPS wouldn't matter too much. So if the Dragon Engine struggled on the Switch 2, it wouldn't matter a whole bunch. But as you'll see in a little bit, actually, K2 is not running too bad on Switch 2. As you'll see in a little bit. But yeah, this is why I really feel like there's a bit of smoke around K3. There's definitely a bit of smoke around K3. And having this one not be on offer it could just be a very weird, you know, coincidence, etc., etc. The entire bundle otherwise is still, obviously this is a great, fantastic price for all the Yakuza games, honestly. But there's smoke. And whenever there's smoke, there's usually RGG holding 5 guns with a triple cross scene or something like that. Less rubber bullets and all that jazz. But there's definitely something going on. But I think we're all excited for this. I think we're all very excited. I think that this could be a pretty decent RGG Direct, all things considered. There's going to more than likely be a big chunk of Virtua Fighter 6, or whatever the new Virtua Fighter is called. I'm excited for that. I know there's a lot of people that are kind of just like, you know, it's not my Yakuza, I don't care. But RGG has been, you know, it's nice that RGG get to do what they want to do rather than just be a one-trick pony developer. Like, they've helped out with, obviously, Super Monkey Ball. They've been doing a lot of work on Virtua Fighter 5, and now, obviously, they're doing the new Virtua Fighter, which I genuinely do think looks really good. I don't know if it's, like, trade show ready. They said, like, the fighting system's, like, 75% complete, so that doesn't sound like it's fully ready for, like, you know, public testing, but at the very least showcasing it at the summit, absolutely. So I think we will at least get, you know, a little bit of gameplay. I think we will get like full-on demonstration of how they want the fights to work, and I also think we will get a character or two reveal. And then I'd like to hope that this is where we finally hear about Stranger Than Heaven, because it's so wild that with 2 trailers for Stranger Than Heaven, the only things that we know are, 1, it's obviously set in Japan. 2, the protagonist seems to be dual nationality, which, again, I'm a binary domain fan. I love the fact that, you know, RGG decided back in the days of binary domain to have some characters like, you know, dual dubs. Like, one character speaks in Japanese and then has Johnny Young Bosch do a slightly racist Asian accent, but we'll leave that one in the past because it's binary domain. And then, obviously, 3, we know that it's set over several time periods. We've seen 2 officially, and the game has also hinted at some other time periods that also seem to be every 14 years apart, which would also go towards the fact that the game's codename was Project Century. So I'd like to hope that despite all that, we know barely anything about the game, which is wild. So I'd like to hope that at the summit we'll hear a little bit more about Stranger Than Heaven. I'm genuinely quite excited. I'm genuinely very excited. It will have ties to Yakuza, I think. I kind of wish it wouldn't. I kind of wish it'd be its own thing, kind of like how Judgment began, you know, just kind of shared interconnected universe, but no, like, actual direct relation. That would be fantastic. Like, do kind of like with the original Judgment, where you have it as its own, you know, as its own series. I genuinely thought they were going to call it something like, you know, Like a Dragon Yakuza Origins or something like that. I'm actually kind of glad they've gone for a name like Stranger Than Heaven, because it, like, makes you start to think and question a lot of things as well, which is really nice. But after the last few games, I'm very curious as to where they go with something that isn't exactly tied to the bigger Like a Dragon ethos and, like, world building that they've done. So I'm really curious as to where that goes. I'm super excited for it. I really hope this is good. We will live stream the summit and the direct, even though it's 4 a.m. my time. Figure out something to do until then to keep me awake. I'll have to unbreak my sleep schedule. And then here's the thing as well, for those who are obviously, like, watching the stream specifically, rather than the YouTube VOD that this will be. The 24th is the very final day I will be streaming until I disappear for almost a week, and then come back for like 4 days, and then disappear for another week after that. So this might be the last thing I cover before I go on a very long holiday. So we'll see about that. But I'm super excited. I'm very excited. So, but directly following the summit, they'll stream an RGG Direct for a deeper dive on the information. Like, what, like, this is the other line that is, like, really curious. Is like, why do you need a deeper dive on the information announced? What are you doing? What are you announcing? What are you doing? What are you doing? I'm excited. Like, this line directly, pun not intended, really makes me think that there is going to be another announcement. So I'm curious. This could be an absolutely cracking Summit Direct. I think this could be pretty darn good. So I'm super excited. I've seen a couple of people be all like, hey, we're gonna get Lad 9. Too early. Too early. Unless it's like Infinite Wealth, where we get the very basic CG trailer. I don't think we get even that until next year at the earliest. RGG have already said it's going to be like 4 years between every mainline game. Infinite Wealth hasn't been out for 2 years yet, so I really think that we're going to get like another year before we start hearing about the next mainline game, which I'm really hoping again is just a solo Itchy story. Obviously, turn-based with like party and stuff, but I mean in terms of protagonists, like Itchy, like it's a story, it's a conversation for another time. Itchy needs his own game. He needs his own story. Like, I don't mind Infinite Wealth and the direction Infinite Wealth went. And like, as soon as like Kiryu's part started, it felt like it was Kiryu's game. It felt like Itchy got put heavily to the wayside. So I'm really hoping that for Lad 9, it's just Itchy. Like, I don't mind, like, obviously the story's going to be whatever the story's going to be. But I just want it to be Itchy again. Just like LAD. Like, if they want to carry on as Itchy as protagonist, they've got to figure out something like in terms like storyline and direction for Itchy to go in, because I've seen a lot of like sentiment of just like people not being able to like vibe with Itchy as much, and that's understandable. He's obviously very different than Kiryu, but Kiryu also had multiple solo games before he had like multi-protagonist games and stuff like that. So we'll see where that goes, but I don't think we get Lad 9 news until next year, honestly. Someone in chat just said judgment-free Hofscopium. Let's get on to the second point. This tweet in Japanese. Streamer, I can't read Japanese. Yeah, neither can I. I started learning Japanese and then I stopped my studies. However, this tweet from all the way back in January, this has been getting a little bit of traction. Now, this is... I don't normally like speak too much on like rumors and stuff, because I don't know who this Twitter user is. I don't know, where they said this. If we hit translate and get terrible... Oh, no, it's actually Google Translate this time. So, yesterday's Maji Matsuri, I asked a member of the development staff, this is relating to RGG, what do you think about the sequel to the Judge series? So, what would be Judge Eyes? And they replied, I guess that's the end of it for now. I might make a special guest appearance in a future installment. Now, this is obviously unsubstantiated. This is obviously, complete rumor, complete hearsay. Could just be someone making it up. Imagine people going onto the internet, making crap up. No one would ever do that. Unbelievable. Absolute debauchery. But I do genuinely think there is a grain of truth to this. We've obviously been seeing a lot of crossover between the Judgment characters and the LAD series. I don't know whether there will be a Judgment Free in the future. I kind of hope so. But it does feel like it was Nagoshi's baby in some kind of ways. And I also don't think they'd be able to get Kimutaku back for a third game. That doesn't necessarily mean I think a third game couldn't happen, because I think you could have dual protagonist Kaito and Sugiura, who magically also knows Yagami's fighting style. Just Yagami taught the guy how to fight before he disappeared off into the ether forever. But I do think that Judgment is absolutely at the moment gonna be on the back burner. We've had several interviews from RGG recently about how productive they are as a studio. I think they have over 300 developers now, I think. But you have several different like teams all working on certain different things. Like you have like a team that works on the minigames. And that team will work on minigames for X thing, and then they'll move on to Y thing, and then Z thing. So you've got a bunch of different developers, and it's a way that they've been able to like eliminate a lot of crunch, which is good. Very, very good. It's very rare we hear about crunch being eliminated these days. But it's also a way for them to really optimize their workflow. And like obviously we get a lot of mini games that are the same between like games, but they also keep changing up like stuff in the arcade these days. It's a much better cry than the time of like 0K1, K2, where a lot of the things were the same and you get like one game like new every game or so. Whereas this time, we now get, like, a whole bunch of new stuff every game, which is wild. Like, they've done a lot of good work with, like, porting the Virtua Fighter stuff. They've done a lot of, like, the Sea Ocean Hunter game in Infinite Wealth. They brought billiards back. Like, if they can bring bowling back, I think we'll all be happy. But I do think that, they're obviously working on multiple things. We obviously know, Stranger Than Heaven, Virtua Fighter 6, probably K3. There's definitely something else in the works. And, like, they can do that now. Like, there's RGG are big enough to be able to do that. And, like, if there is, like, LAD 9 will be in, like, the planning phases right now. They'll be doing, like, the scripting, where they want to take, like, the story, etc. So, no actual work on the game in terms like the engine and stuff is probably being done, but they're definitely going to be like going on to that phase soon. So it wouldn't surprise me if RGG currently has like 3 projects on the go and then something else, either like future planning for Lad 9 or something else. But I do think that because of that, I do think there is no current room for potentially even looking into Judgment. And I think it sucks. I love Judgment. I've lost Judgment. Games are fantastic. I don't know whether this itself has any actual basis, like any truth to it, but I could see it being true is the thing. But also, if it was Yokoyama that said this line, Yokoyama is a known troll. And not in a bad way, but Yokoyama is a known troll and is known to stir up stuff and then go back on stuff. So if Yokoyama's saying this, I would also take it with a grain of salt as well. So I do think that there is potential, like, slight truth in this, much in the same way that on, you know, April 1st of last year on a Japanese live stream, they said, oh, we'll probably have to do K3 at some point, probably knowing full well that they were already starting work on development of that because Pirate Yakuza was going to be wrapping up. So I definitely think that, you know, Yokoyama says a lot of truths and half-truths, but also just plays this for real. So I unfortunately could see this being very real. I don't want Judgment to end, but I also don't know what a kind of negotiate less Judgment would be. Which I guess is a bit more Lost Judgment, but I don't know, like Lost Judgment followed Judgment's plot coattails a bit too closely for me. Character-wise, Lost Judgment, phenomenal. But like, the whole Deus Ex Machina court stuff, again, I can't believe you pulled that twice. It had way less impact on Lost Judgment because of the fact that, you know, the characters involved in Judgment's part were, like, actively involved and so much better. So, I don't know. I would like a Judgment 3. I also wouldn't be unhappy if Kaito Files is the last thing we get, because actual happy ending, it does kind of feel like you could kind of end things a bit neatly with everything that happened. You can just imagine Yagami and Kaito are off doing detective work, just in Kamurocho, whilst everyone else is doing their own thing in the rest of the RGG universe, you know? So yeah, I hope personally that Judgment isn't over, but I don't think there is a Judgment 3 right now. I think what we'll get is Virtua Fighter 6 next year. Likely, it's sounding likely that Stranger Than Heaven is going to be like early 2027, maybe late 2026. So I think that a K3, like either slightly before or slightly after, is going to happen. It could happen before and then they look into like another like Kiwami / remake after Stranger Than Heaven. Dead Souls, the House of Dead Souls, I'm like one of the only 10 people who wants this. A Dead Souls remake. You don't even have to do that much work. I'm gonna say something sacrilegious. That kind of thing you did with Lad Ishin, where you just shove it in Unreal, make the frame rate better, give it better controls. That's all it needs. Stop the crashing in the video game so I can speedrun it. Thanks, cool. I love Dead Souls. I actually do. It's a great game. I'm gonna make a YouTube video on why I love Dead Souls. But one thing we did get yesterday as well. One thing that I actually am surprised about how it looks. Yesterday, over on Sega's Twitch channel, also on, I believe, their usual like Twitter live stream, and also I think there was like an Instagram or TikTok live stream, I'm not quite sure. I'll drop the link in chat in a second. But on Sega's live stream yesterday, Carlos and Brent, the PRs for RGG Studio, worked them a couple of times, fantastic people. They showed off direct footage of K2 running on Switch. I don't know if we've ever had any other direct footage of K2 on Switch, but this is gonna be direct footage of K2 running on Switch. And like, I really thought the Dragon engine, because we knew it was gonna be 30 FPS, because, you know, Switch 2, blah, 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 and how it works on PS4. I really thought this was gonna be a bit not so great. Like, I was a little worried about this, but I gotta say, I'm actually surprised at how decent this footage looks. I'm gonna play it for a little bit. I'm not gonna like leave it on all the time because this is their footage. This is like obviously Sega. Like, I thought running around the city would be quite choppy. But like, and you got to remember that obviously this is a Twitch live stream, so it's not, you know, the best of footage. But like, look at how this runs.
This is actually in Osaka.
This is on a Switch 2. Like, this is 30 FPS, but this doesn't look bad. Like, graphically, it looks really gorgeous, and it's able to maintain 30. I'm actually really surprised at how decent this looks. Like, I was expecting this to be, you know, a little like all over the place, but no, actually, like, even going into menus and stuff doesn't seem like there's that much of a delay. Like, this actually looks really good. There's going to be like a fight in a second that they're going to get into here, and you'll get to see that even in fights, like, it doesn't look too bad either. Like, it's not too choppy, etc. But like, man, like, I was not expecting the Switch 2 version of K2 to look this good and like actually play this good as well. So I'm like, I think we were all also a little worried after how like K1 was on Switch 1, like even pre-patch, but this is the Dragon engine running pretty decently on a Switch 2. Like, obviously the later Dragon engine games, like obviously the Castlevania, Gaiden, Honolulu in Infinite Wealth will probably cause a lot more problems than this, but for the earlier Dragon engine games, this, Tenchi K3, because again, with the whole like, you know, releasing this on Switch 2 ahead of K3 on Switch at the same time as everything else, that's a selling point. Again, why I keep thinking it's K3. Like, I think it looks really good. I'm really shocked at like how genuinely good this looks.
We're at Cabaret Grand, so if you ever played Yakuza 0...
Have you played Yakuza 0 chat? It's also available on the Switch too. We need to do our director's cut. I have it right here.
I'm actually supposed to go there right now.
A game key card, which I've come to hate those already, but we have it here. I need to do this. I now finally have it. I can go and, you know, see what all the fuss is about with the new scenes and stuff. Don't tell me about. I'm intentionally not looking at them. we're gonna play it ourselves, English dub and all, and we're gonna see like obviously everything that happens. Here's a fight. You'll get to see like here, this fight right here. Again, the same way it works on the others, like that little like jot there always keeps happening. So yeah, look at how good this looks. Like tiny little drop there, but other than that, like this looks really good. Like this is Switch 2. Like I was actually like really surprised that it's running really smoothly. Like. It's still running really good. I'm actually really shocked because, like, I genuinely was thinking that on Switch 2 it would be like a little juttery, a little all over the place. But like, this footage looks really good. Like, this footage looks really, really good. Like, and like, I'm surprised because I thought they'd like even like hit a little bit with the actual quality of the game itself visually, but like, it looks great. It looks absolutely great. So yeah, I'll drop a link to that in chat now. So you can have a look yourselves if you would like to have a look at the rest of the footage. They also do a little bit of, I believe, K1 on Switch 2 as well. But yeah, that looks way, way better than I was expecting. And also, this is just a little thing, not related to RGG, but I linked this in chat a second ago. This is from Sega Japan. Shinobi Art of Vengeance just came out. I was sponsored by Sega to play it. Really enjoyed my time with it. Really enjoyed my time with it. There's actually a collab with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, where on Steam itself, there's a part from the Ninja Bundle. You can actually buy both at the same time. And I would highly recommend both games. They're both fantastic. I genuinely enjoyed my time with Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Took about 11 hours to 100%, and then there's still like extra stuff that is also unlocked afterwards to do. So genuinely enjoyed my time. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound I'm still playing through. I'm about halfway through. It's very fun as well. Very different, but also very old school Ninja Gaiden-y. Not as difficult, which is kind of nice. But yeah, genuinely thank you to Sega for like sponsoring us for Shinobi for the last like 2-3 days. Great game. Fully recommend it. I know a lot of people probably have their minds on, you know, so there's another 2D action side scroll that might be coming out next week. Literally less than a week, 6 days, chat. But don't sleep on Shinobi or Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Both very good games. I was actually sponsored for both of these games. Should mention that, actually. Both very good. They're both available as a bundle, at least on Steam. I don't know if they're available elsewhere. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed them, and I hope people will check out Shinobi. It's very good. I think that's the news, chat. I think that's all we got to talk about, which has definitely taken me a lot longer than I thought it would, so we better get on with this speedrun.